Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today I'll be doing something a little bit different. I'll be doing a tutorial on some of the Bitspower gear I've been using lately. I've been working closely with Bitspower in Australia and trying to sort of get them more established in some of the main computer stores around Australia. So what I've been doing is helping promote them a bit. I've come on board as a GGF sponsor. You've probably seen some of the rigs we're building now have Bitspower gear. But as of late, I've been getting quite a few questions on what res do I buy for this pump top, or what pump goes in this pump top, and so forth. So I've got 3 out here at the moment, so they're fully set up. So we've got 2 that'll take a D5 pump. This one doesn't have a pump in at the moment, hence there's no lead coming out. And then we have a smaller pump, which is the DDC. So what I'll do is I'll do a complete breakdown of each of these. We'll get up close and I'll probably put all the model numbers of each item, because for one sort of pump, the whole set, you've got the res, and you've got the pump top, and you've got the pump inside. I'll just straight away say that the pumps, like Bitspower doesn't make the pumps. So first off, when you buy a pump, I'll show you what a pump will look like. You might be a bit surprised if you haven't bought a pump before. They are literally just like irrigation pumps. It has no real sort of ports or fittings to put in. So when you buy it, it's just sort of a round little device that'll go inside here. So don't sort of be shocked when you buy it and be like, oh, hang on, how do I screw this in? So Bitspower will give you has the right gear to get your pump from the bare minimum looking to something like this. So if you buy the right gear, you don't need to buy anything else from like the pump shop, or you actually don't sort of buy them from the pump shop. You can just buy them from standard computer stores, but just don't be shocked when it's looking a little bit bare. So I'll go over each one. There's normally like 4 or 5 items that sort of make up each of these sets. And these are a little bit more complex because you see that's sort of an all-in-one unit. So instead of going with your more sort of your reservoir hanging in a case, and then you have a little bit of tube that runs down to the pump, these are sort of the all-in-one, and these are more of a sort of a simpler look. They're much cleaner, less sort of tubing is needed. So you don't have to go with this option. You can go with the other one I said, with the tube in between. But I'll show you some ways that if you do buy one or the other, there's some good sort of items from Bitspower that you can easily sort of buy one item to be able to put it back to this state, or you can run it as a single reservoir on its own. So I'm just going to say straight off, I'm not here to sort of promote Bitspower and say, hey, they're the best water cooling company in the world. You should buy this. Everyone has their flaws. If there's something not right, I'll tell you about it. I just want to simply sort of help the viewers understand what you need to buy, because I've only been sort of using Bitspower the last year. I've probably only been doing water cooling, more extreme stuff now in the past few years, and this was certainly a shock to me. So I can only imagine what it would be like to sort of newcomers these days. And as more gear sort of gets more advanced, it'll get more complex, and unfortunately there's really nothing we can do about that. So I'm here to try and explain it all for you. So what we'll do is we'll jump in, we'll get the camera in closer, and what I'm going to do is dismantle all of these, and I'll set each one up and I'll go over each item. Alright guys, so I've broken all these down now into all the individual components. So we'll name this setup 1, setup 2, setup 3. Now setup 3 is a brand new premium set from Bitspower. I haven't actually used this yet, so we'll have a look at that at the end. It does look pretty sweet. It's slightly similar to setup 1, but it is newer and it's got some different components. I'm just going to do this in one whole cut. So we'll just go through pretty laid back, and I'll just start covering everything for each set. Alright, so what I'll do is probably start covering the pumps, or the pump on each one first. So straight away we'll move these out of the way. Alright, so setup 1 over here. So this uses a D5 pump. So this one here just happens to be XSPC. It's simply just a rebadged Liang pump. These are one of the best for most builds. I think I had 2 of these running in the Lianli desk, and it was absolutely smashing through. So these are a great little pump. Can run quite a few radiators, no worries. And this is a Vario one. It's got the little 1 to 5 speed there. So that one's currently set at 5. All right, so you might kind of be shocked if you've never sort of seen what a pump looks like, or a D5. You may have seen pumps before that. Some water cooling companies do release pumps that have your fittings already to sort of G-quarter ports ready to go in for your fittings, but these ones are just simply not usable until you purchase a pump top to go with it. All right, so once you have your pump like that, this one came from I think Frozen CPU, and it got sleeved beforehand. So normally they just come with just standard wires. So this is already pre-sleeved. I'll just fix up the sleeving there. All right, so that's that. It does have your blue wires for your pump speed, but I often just sort of cut them off because they get in the way. All right, so that's for this set. Setup number 3 also uses a D5, so the same pump. And then setup 2 is a bit different. This uses a DDC pump. So same company, but it is slightly smaller. Well, at this stage, it's sort of actually bigger. But the beauty with the Bitspower pump top and kit for this is you actually sort of pull the pump apart. So you can see it's already coming apart because I already had it set up. So when I get around to that, I'll show you how much smaller you make this pump by pulling it all apart, and you actually pull out the main guts of it, and you actually fit it inside the pump top. And when you grab the pump cooler, it actually sits inside it, and it gives it a little bit more ventilation because the DDCs are slightly smaller and they do get a little bit hotter in small environments. All right, so let's move on to onto sort of the pump top setup for the setup number 1. So this here is your pump top that I'm using. So I've actually written all this down. So this is the D5 Mod Kit V2 pump cover. Actually, yeah. So the pump cover cooler is this one here. So they call these coolers. I more or less call them covers, purely because it just goes over the pump. You actually have to feed the cable through here, and then it sits inside like this. And when we put it together, I'll show you, and all you see is this on the outside. Because most times, if you don't get this, you'll just see the pump like that sticking out of your pump top. And most of the time when it's done, this is just an example one I have just to show you how it can look a bit ugly. So once you feed this through like this, you might want to check when you do buy a D5, and most of them should come with this ring. This is simply the locking ring. Right, so say you were to use this dual Bitspower pump top, that's how it would look like that. So if you had that sort of in display in your case, that does look pretty messy, looks ugly. So that's why I have the pump cover / cooler. And now the pump top I'm using is the D5 Mod Top V2. So you will see that. I won't go through each of the model numbers because they are quite long. I'll just put them up in the description of each item I use. So this is a pump top V2. So to simply put that on, now you don't have to think that you need to line these up any special way, get like arrows lining up with arrows or something. It just simply just goes on. So you might also want to note that most of the times there are O-rings. I'll just try and get this one out. So that's an O-ring there. So if you aren't quite sure, you'll need to refer to the sort of manual that comes with them. So what I have actually done is I have printed them out, because something that Bitspower does exceptionally well are the actual manuals that come with them. But you're probably thinking, well, fair enough, you've already got the item, but what happens if you're having troubles purchasing the item? You can't sort of check the manual then because you don't know what you're looking for. Well, the beauty of that, if you go to the Bitspower, I normally use the bitspower.com.taiwan. It's got everything they have, and when you click on a product, it gives you a PDF file of the manual. So you can go through and see exactly what comes with it and what doesn't. So say for this setup number 1 we've got going here. So this is using the this res here. This is the 150. So reses come in 150, 200, 300, and 400. That's simply the height. So this is a 150. So you're probably thinking, well, I have no idea what this comes with. So if you're on their website, this is an example of what the sort of the PDF looks like. I'll actually put this up on the screen. It tells you what it comes with, what's not included. So it says the D5 mod top V2 is not included. So in the fact that it's told you that this item is not included, you know that you then need this item. It also says the O-ring for the D5 mod top, which is the O-ring I just pulled out, is not included, which you would then assume comes with this, and you can then vice versa check the manual for this to make sure the O-ring comes with this. And then it also says the D5 pump is not included, and so forth. And also the D5 mod kit, which is this red thing, is not included. So that's really sweet that it actually does that. And then this is sort of similar to what you actually get in the little box when it arrives. Right, so what we'll do is we'll put this through here. So you're probably wondering that I've got no end on here. When you do purchase the anyone that requires you to put sort of the connector through, it gives you a removal tool. All you have to do is depin it. It comes out quite simple, and then what we'll do, actually, if I can get this right, goes the other way. Put this through. So that just simply sits in there like that. Probably good to set your speed now. Most systems will be fine on 4. I normally just use 5. I haven't had any issues. And then what I do is I just line the bit of where the cable comes out with the actual, make sure it's actually poking through and it's not sort of crimped on the actual cable. Get that little bit through there like that. Alright, so now that's completely flat. I can then just push it through. Alright, so that just simply sits there. That's it. Alright, so then securing this on, you make sure your O-ring is in there. And then you just simply turn it like so. And make sure it locks in nicely. And then that's it. Alright, so another beauty with the pump covers, coolers, whatever you want to call them, is they often come with brackets as well. Sometimes you have to be careful that check the online sort of manual or documentation to see what it does come with, because this one here comes with a nice a really nice what sort of mount is that? If this goes on like, yeah, so it's a nice, that'll make it horizontal, I guess. So that makes it sit like that. So if you're installing this on a base, or if you're putting this on the side wall of a case like this, it'll go like this, and that'll simply sit on. So if you didn't buy the base, you wouldn't have got this bracket. But bear in mind, you can buy pretty much everything Bitspower has. You can buy them separately. You could just go out and buy this separately if you want. But it is a nice feature that you do get the bracket as well, because a lot of people do have issues with mounting sort of the tops once you buy the pump. People are like, oh, do I just use adhesive Velcro or things like that? But most of the time they will come with a bracket if you do get the pump cover. All right, so that's that done there. So bear in mind, you could just leave it at this. You could just run this system like this. You can put in a so yeah, just one more thing to mention, because it's because this pump top is designed for this, doesn't mean you have to use the this res top. You can just use this quite fine like this. You can put your fittings in, and if you had, say, a normal res, or this could go straight out to something else. So you can see on this one, you've got 2 ins and 2, actually no, you've got an in on the top, in on the front, and an in on the bottom, and then you have an out and an out. So providing you just block all the others up, you only need 1 in and 1 out. So that's it there. So that's pretty sweet how they got those on there. All right, so now moving on to the top. This is your reservoir. All right, so this is probably the thing that gets people. You probably see this, and most people are like, well, this doesn't look like my normal reservoir, because most reservoirs, or ones that you're familiar with and seeing in systems that are standalone reservoirs, normally look like this and have the 2 clamps that secure it down like that. But if you say you did have one of those and you bought one from Bitspower and you're like, well, there's no way this will go on here at all, which is correct. It does not have the right equipment. You don't need to throw this out. All Bitspower tube reses are the same thread size. So what is a nifty thing you can do, you can jump onto their site and find the model number, and you can just buy this. So this is the platform or the base that will allow you to screw this on to the top, and then by doing that you can then use any standard res that'll go on it like that. So you can get the 400, the 200, whatever you like. So that's a nice little nifty idea that sort of it all sort of joins together. You don't have to worry about swapping out the completely different parts. All right, so now when you do get this this res, you do get some little other things. So you get this little I call this an anti-air chamber. So what this does is it screws, because you probably noticed that, hey, you got two there, but you can still use this without the top. When you put this on, you've only got one, so you probably need to do something with that out. So what this does is it screws into this here, and then bear in mind you put the two O-rings. So everything you get, you need the O-rings. That always comes with the correct set of gear, and then that just fits on like that. And then what you do is you just screw this in. I probably won't screw this all the way in just to speed up some time. And also you do get all the tools required. So say you need an Allen key to do these, you will get the Allen key in the kit. So that's good as well. So you don't need to have 100 tools with you before you start. All right, so that just goes on like that. Now you can just screw this in. Bear in mind that you do need to put the washer on here. They do come, they're not installed when you do buy these tops. They'll come in a little bag, so please install those. There's another one I've installed in the top cap, because if you don't, it will leak everywhere. And then you just have to thread that on, and you don't want to over tight these. You're not holding up sort of the Queen Mary or something with this. You just want to get it reasonably tight, and then that is it. So that is all done. And with this you can use in up the top, out at the bottom. You can use say in at the bottom, out at the bottom. Bear in mind, if you do that, you are sort of bypassing the full res, so your cooling won't be as good, but it'd still be okay. But it's best to go into the top, and then you're using the full liquid in the reservoir. Just another thing to mention, if you do notice that normally when you purchase all these upgrade tops for the pumps, they all come with the single inlets. There's one, and this one also here has a single one. So if you wanted to have a 2 or a 3, say you wanted to have your fill port up the top here, what you can do is you go to their Reservoir Accessories, and you can simply buy a 2 or a 3 by G-quarter top. So that one's actually had some red cooling in. So that's that there. So now I can make one my in, I can block one off, and I can put like a nice little shoot this up to the top of the case or something, and this can be my fill port. So that's a nice little accessory that it's good to look at if you're doing that. All right, so that's pretty much all of that one covered. We'll move on to the slightly smaller DDC version. Alrighty, so moving on to the DDC version. Let's see what we got. I just printed these out just to make it just a little bit faster with doing this. It is going to take a while, but I tell you, it is worth it sort of to learn all of this. There's also another installation guide for this, the big brother here, if you want to run the dual, but that'd be a pretty sweet loop with those two in. Alrighty, so let's move on to this interesting one, which is pretty cool. And bear in mind, when you do purchase all the Bitspower gear, if you buy the top and the res, if you stick to the same color scheme, like the black, or they have different colors, you know that everything's going to match. So instead of buying a different branded top, a pump top and a res, they might look different. So if you're really specific about how your build's going to look, if you stick to say the one brand, as in Bitspower, everything will look the same and match, and it's sort of designed to sort of look better together as using different brands. And also in saying that, Bitspower has a huge range of things, like even these tops. They come in the standard POM black, The other white matter build I did, I got the white ones. This one's the, if I can get this one off, it's a bit tight for some reason. This is the clear. I think the clears look pretty sweet. And they've now released their true brass. I'm hopefully should be doing a build in a month or two with their true brass ones. They're just like fully gold, which look really sick. So those ones are pretty sweet as well. All right, so moving on to the DDC setup. So this is setup number 2. So if you have a quick look at it there, so it is quite complex. So this is the other day was the first time I installed one of these, and I was kind of like, you see, this is your, it does say MCP 355, which is the same as the DDC. That's it there, and I was kind of like, well, how am I going to fit that into the pump cooler there? So what you do have to do is sort of have to go to town a bit on the DDC. So you rip out all of its guts, and then you just had to slightly lift it up. You can get rid of that, and then that's what you're left with. So that is all the pump is, just that. So you probably wouldn't think that all you'd need to drive your loop is just that little pump. And now when you look at the diagram, it pretty much looks exactly the same. Alright, so so that's the DDC. DDCs are slightly cheaper, but I reckon for the price, D5s, you've got the Vario ones. You can change the speed. They're more powerful. They got more head pressure. I would prefer to go with the D5, but if you're sort of confined for space, these DDCs are good for tight areas. Alrighty, so what we'll do is, I had a box here somewhere. What's this one? Alright, so this is the pump cooler. So these little nifty things, so you can get these pump coolers in all different colors. I should have got a different color than the actual top, because it just doesn't look as good. The pump coolers just give you, another reason for the pump cooler is it gives you mounting sort of points. So you can see it's got all the threads there, and it gives you ones on the side. So that's pretty sweet how it does that. So by following this diagram, I've already cut the pad out, which sits on there, and then you have to cut out these smaller pads and put them around the side there. So what I'll do is we'll put this one in now. Like so. And that one can just go, actually, I had it around the right way. Alright, so that goes like that. And then what you do is you grab this guy here, and then once again, there's no orientation because it's just a pure circle, and this spins around. You can just drop this on top like so, and then it just screws together like that. So what you do is you grab and it even has the 4x20mm screws. So even if you aren't sure what screws you need, you can just simply measure them, because they're those ones are 20mm. Alright, so what I'll do, I can get this to go in. I'm not screwing all these up and doing them all exactly how you should do. I'm just going to roughly just tighten them so we can get this together. So once this is assembled, this will be a DDC with the top equivalent to a D5 with a top, and that's it there. So you can see with D5 with the top, DDC with the top, so it's not too much. Actually, I guess, yeah, because you're looking at the top on the D5 is that size there, and then that size, so it is a lot smaller. So straight away, if you put the same size res on, you're already saving that much space. So you do save a fair bit of room. Just don't want that to roll off. Alright, so once that's done, you can then go over to actually, I don't have the printout for this one, but this one just simply this was quite simple because it only has the one port in there. You just need to put the O-ring on there, and then you just simply screw this down like so. But it is easier to normally take that off. And then just screw. Bear in mind, I am just only putting two, one in each corner. You do need to put the full 4, and you sort of get them reasonably tight, and then you go diagonally and just tighten each one slowly. Don't just sort of crank one till it's super tight, then crank another one. Just evenly go around till they're all tight. All right, so now once you do that, that's it. So that is your DDC pump top with the cooler. What do they actually call the it's just called a Bitspower pump cooler for DDC. That's it. So yeah, so what you can do is you can get these red, so you can get these in like red or white, and it gives a nice sort of different sort of look to having just a black, and you could get this in a black or a clear or even a white, so that's pretty sweet as well. Alright, so that is that one. Alright, so now setup 3, I actually really haven't looked at much. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of everything we're not, or we can keep all these because they're standard on all of them. Alright, so these are their premium range. I actually haven't released these quite yet. So this is the this here, did I actually tell you? Yeah, so they have the little information on the side of each one. So this one is the premium dual single, so you can use this on a dual or a single, so I'm assuming they'll have a dual one for it. And this is the POM version, which is the black, and it's the upgrade kit 150. So when I say upgrade kit, it's the upgrade that goes on top of the pump top. Right, so I've actually opened this up already, but this is what you do get in them. Right, so you get the Allen key there, you get this little thing, which I'll show you what that does later. And as I mentioned earlier, you get the 2 O-rings in the bag, so you must install those. So you might actually do those now. So one just goes on the bottom. And where's the cap I haven't used? This cap just simply needs one like that. So that's it. Now I think this one is really simple, but it gives you some flexibility options of the in and the outs to do it. Oh yeah, so there's the dual one there, so it literally just looks like 2 of these side by side. Alright, so that's the instructions there for that one. Okay, and just bear in mind again, the ones you get online are exactly the same as this, so you can sort of sketch out your build and work out exactly what you need before you purchase it. Alright, so it looks like you get, this comes with it already. See, it actually came assembled already in the box. Like, actually, I need to grab my pump again. Actually, I'll do it without a pump because we know exactly how it's going to look. Alright, so it just clips on like that. So your pump goes in there, straight out there. Actually, that reminds me, we'll have a look at the, so this is the pump top side of things. We actually haven't looked through here yet. Right, so that's what you get for the pump top. So as I mentioned before, when you do buy a pump top, sorry, why am I saying pump top? When you buy the cover, which came in here, which is the it comes with these mounts as well. So it's actually a bit confusing with this premium one. It came with the cover and the top in the one box, whereas it's a bit confusing with this one. You had to buy completely separate, just the casing separate to the top. So it looks like with this new premium series you get sort of the 2-in-1. You get the top and the cover all ready to go, and it already came sort of set up like that, but you do have to pull it apart to put the pump in. And then once again, because you have to feed the wires through, it gives you a little depinning tool, which you just simply push the wires through with that. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll quickly just secure this together. Alright, so that's back together now, like that. I just put 2 in again. You do need the 4. So that's how it came pretty much in the box like that. Actually, this was out in the bag like that. So this one is slightly different because it came with this on here. So this one is a slightly bit thicker than the other ones, they didn't have the as you can see, these upgrade kits were rather skinnier. I'm not sure if you can buy just this bit, like I mentioned before, how you can just buy this for the res. I'll have to look into that because these are fairly new. I'm not sure yet. Alright, so what you do with this one. So when you get the instructions for the upgrade kit, it purely tells you how you attach the top bit down onto the pump top. But when you get the instructions for the pump top, it tells you how to go from the sort of ground up the other way. So that's it there. So pretty straightforward. It's just the same as the other one. Just make sure you install the O-ring, and then what you do is you need to put a it actually tells you need to put this this cap has to go in here like that, because if you actually have a look, it's got this channel in it like that, so this channel goes over it. So then you just simply put that on there. Now you do have to get this orientated right, because if you do it like this way, it probably won't line up right. So it's best just to follow the documentation. They got the two holes facing out, I got the two holes facing out, and what I'll do is I can just screw that in. So what I'll do is I'll actually take this off. I do prefer to take this off every time. It just saves it from of sort of scratching the res when you're spinning around the Allen key. Alright, so that's that like that. So the slightly difference with this is this gives you some options to reverse the not really reverse the options, but it gives you a method 1, a method 2. So method 1, the in is both number 1 still, so the in will always be the top down through the top of the pump top, and then you can have the out being number 2, which is this one here, just like this. Or if you want to have the outs being down the bottom, what you have to do is you remove this this little one, you put this slightly larger one in, and then that goes into number 2, which is the top one, and now that'll direct the flow to the bottom. So it is slightly a little bit more complex than the other one, but it does give you the options to do that. Now with the stands, we'll just have a quick look at these. Do I have a screwdriver here? The Allen key again. It's this one. So I'm wondering why they have the 3 different lots of holes there. Maybe you can rotate it around different ways or something. Right, so when you come on, line up. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of this gear, just hit up the Bitspower Australia page. They've started one up. It is direct to Bitspower, so you will be getting responses from the Bitspower team. They are working together to try and get more Bitspower gear in Australia, and not just in terms of just getting random bits that people might want, but more or less these whole sort of kits. So just so you don't have to buy a res that from another brand just to fit like something different. So more or less, so you can actually get a whole Bitspower kit without having to shop from 10 different locations. All right, and then that just goes like that. So this is their new premium range. It does look pretty sweet. You can get these in the different colors, the blue, that's the white, the black. Then you can get these in the different colors, so you could do the clear or the white. And this is sort of the older version, how it looks like that. So it does look sort of a little bit more streamlined. I do like it how you don't get the big bulge sort of on the sides. This does look nice. It'd probably look nicer in smaller square cases. And then again, you have the slightly smaller DDC option there. Alrighty guys, well that's it for this tutorial. I probably went for a bit longer than than I expected, but I kind of wanted to cover everything you can sort of utilize with the tops, the reservoir upgrades, and then the sort of pump coolers and the mounts. There's a lot out there, so I think it's good that there's sort of probably more videos like this out there that should be done. So what I'll probably do in the future is I'll probably cover more sort of Bitspower gear, new releases that come out. I'll try and do some more coverage on their full cover blocks. They're the ones that do the MOSFETs all in one, and it sort of covers the whole motherboard. We had one on one of our boards and it looked really sweet. So I'll probably do some videos on those. Just to show you the system on this left here, this is one of my most recent builds, the white matter build, and this is fully everything in here is Bitspower. So you can see how you can sort of blend in Bitspower to work with your build. So I was after mainly a white build with sort of black accents, and as you can see, Bitspower pretty much had everything I needed. If something in Bitspower comes in black, you can probably find an option to change it to white. So things like all the fittings, the reservoir caps, even the CPU block, I could change the bracket to white. So it's just not white they have your blood red, which is this one here. They have carbon black. I use a lot of that one. They have then they have the true brass, and I think they have a matte black, and they have the shining silver, which is your traditional more sort of silver color. So I don't think there's any company out that has a larger range of colors as Bitspower does. So that's definitely something to look out for if you are sort of looking to theme your water cooling around your PC build. But I'll leave it at there. If you have any questions at all, you can even hit up me on the GGF Facebook page. That's just facebook.com/ggf.land.party. So just shoot us a question there, and we'll hopefully do some more Bitspower videos in the future. I just want to thank Bitspower for giving me the opportunity to sort of go over this gear and send me new gear to test out. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.